My beloved child, now listen carefully, for these words are not born of anger, but of the deep ache of the one who loves you beyond measure. I speak to you now because the hour has come for me to reveal what few dare to confront: the absence of my presence. It is not because I have changed, but because your heart has drifted away. It is not that I desire to depart, but that you have chosen paths that slowly push me out from the center of your life. My child, if you feel even the faintest trembling within your soul as you hear this, know that it is the echo of a truth too sacred to ignore. From the beginning, I created you to live in communion with me, a divine bond that nothing on earth could replace. Within that fellowship, you were known, loved, guided, and protected. But when sin entered humanity, grew accustomed to living without me, they learned to speak without prayer, to decide without seeking my will, to worship without heart. And as the ages passed, the silence between heaven and man thickened like a cold fog. I see many souls now asleep in the illusion that I am still near, though they no longer listen for my voice. My child, I am still close, but your heart has wandered far. You still read my word, yet it no longer stirs you with holy trembling. You still sing of me, yet the melody has become routine, no longer a flame. You still pray, yet your lips speak more than your heart feels. You have learned to live amid grace without awe, to walk in blessing without gratitude. You say you love me, yet your eyes turn toward the world where the sweet lullabies of compromise are slowly putting your spirit to sleep. I have tried to awaken you through signs, through the gentle breeze of my spirit, through circumstances designed to stop you in your restless stride. But each time I knocked, you whispered, "Lord, I'm busy." I waited in silence, but you chased after other noises. I placed before you opportunities to return, but you called them distractions. Every time I reached out, you closed your heart. You did not realize that every small refusal carved a deeper distance between us, dimming my presence within your soul. Until one day you will awaken and find that my silence no longer feels peaceful, but empty. Do you know what the world thirsts for most? Not wealth, not fame, not power, but my true presence. Yet they search for it in the wrong places: in religion without life, in rituals without spirit, in fleeting emotion and shallow form, forgetting that I dwell with the humble, with those who mourn their sin, with those who desire my presence. More than miracles. You now stand at that crossroads, one path noisy with success and illusion, the other quiet with repentance and surrender. And I see your heart leaning toward the crowd, not toward the narrow way that leads to life. I do not warn you to make you afraid, but to awaken your soul. For when I withdraw, not only does light fade, but meaning itself dissolves. When I am no longer at the center, prayer becomes hollow, wisdom turns to pride, and love becomes counterfeit. I have seen many souls try to fill the void with knowledge, with work, with relationships, with pleasures, but all crumble, for they were built on sand, not on me. And when the winds blow, everything collapses into dust. My absence does not come like a thunderclap. It comes quietly like twilight fading into night. It begins when you no longer seek me at dawn, when you cease to speak with me at night, when you excuse small sins as harmless, when you justify the chill of your heart. Then one day you will notice the peace you once felt is gone, the holy joy has faded, and life feels empty. That is when darkness has claimed the space where light once reigned. Yet I have not left you, my beloved. If I had truly withdrawn, you would not hear this voice. My words today are proof that grace still remains open, that heaven's door is not yet shut, that my hand is still reaching out, waiting for you to return. Understand this. My love does not change, but it cannot be manipulated. I will not compete for your heart, but I will let you taste the ache of separation if you persist in wandering, not to punish you, but so that in darkness you may rediscover the worth of light. Only the lost learn to value being found. Do you remember the last time you truly felt my presence? when you trembled under the weight of forgiveness, when tears mingled with gratitude, when your heart melted beneath unconditional love. In that moment, you knew I was real, not an idea, not a doctrine, but the living one who touched you. Now I invite you back, not through memory, but through surrender. Let every mask fall. Let pride be broken. Let your heart soften under my gaze. I do not need your perfection. I desire your honesty. If you knew what happens when a soul ceases to feel me, you would not rest another moment. For my absence is not mere loss. It is the unraveling of everything that once gave you life. The world may still spin, your duties may continue, your voice may still speak, but inside, everything dies. The soul becomes hollow, the mind lost, the heart numb. It is a subtle hell, not of fire but of coldness, not of chains but of confinement, not of screams but of the deadly silence of a soul cut off from its creator. My child, this is a trumpet blast, not to condemn but to save. Return before night falls, for when the darkness of indifference covers you, even the smallest light will seem foreign. Let this be the day you awaken from the trance of compromise. Let this be the day you shake off the ashes and rekindle the flame that once burned bright. I am not far, only one cry away, one whisper of truth. Lord, I need you and I will come. I will come faster than you imagine, nearer than you think, gentler than you hope. For though you have forgotten me many times, I have never stopped remembering you. My beloved child, do you know what truly separates the soul from me? Not only great sins, but small compromises, the silent moments when truth should be spoken, but isn't the times you choose convenience over obedience. These are the thin cords that at first seem harmless, but slowly bind the soul until it can no longer sense my footsteps beside it. You do not lose me in a single day, but little by little through choices that seem minor, yet carry eternal weight. I saw the first moment when you chose silence over the gentle conviction of my spirit. You told yourself, it's fine just this once, but that once became a habit, and habit became nature. Then your soul grew numb, no longer trembling at sin, no longer grieving the distance. You still speak my name, yet in your heart the throne has been divided apart for fear, apart for pride, apart for the things you cannot release. And when the throne is shared, my presence is diminished. My child, I do not withdraw out of anger, but out of love. For if I stayed within a hardened heart, you would never realize what you've lost. My silence is not neglect. It is a call spoken through shadow, that you might recognize the light you once took for granted as the precious gift it truly is. When I grow quiet, you learn to listen deeper. When I hide my face, you begin to treasure a single touch. And when you feel empty, grace begins its work, for only the soul that hungers can be filled again, my beloved child. The greatest danger is not temporary silence. It is becoming comfortable with it. You begin to accept it as normal. You soothe yourself with the thought, God still loves me, and yes, I do still love you, but my love is not a lullaby that allows sin to sleep undisturbed. My love is a fire, both gentle and fierce. It warms, but it also purifies. It comforts, but it also convicts. When you try to use grace to cover your apathy, you are suffocating the very breath of your soul. Pause for a moment, my child, and look deeply within. Do you still say God is the center of my life, while your mind overflows with plans of your own making, full of calculation and fear of lack? Do you still pray, yet mutter through routine words, without sensing the presence of the one to whom you speak? Do you still say, your will be done, yet secretly crave that your will be accomplished? You do not realize that each of these small choices slowly pulls you away from the source of life. I have seen many souls begin with holy fire and end in quiet ashes. They once trembled at my name, wept under my presence, and were willing to give up everything for love of me. But then success came, pride awakened, and passion turned into habit. They began to serve me without seeking me, to preach about me without listening to me, to speak of the Holy Spirit without allowing Him to lead. I watch them with tears, for though their bodies still move in my name, their souls have lost the way. Do you know why I long so deeply for communion with you? Because I have poured my Spirit into you. I breathed life, purpose, and eternity into your being. You were not created merely to work or to achieve, but to commune. Everything you do, every word you speak, every dream you chase, if it does not flow from that union, it is only an echo in the void. The world may applaud you, but heaven will remain silent. You may touch human glory, but you will lose the glory of the one who formed you. My silence is not abandonment, it is a test of love. It is like the night sky when the sun sets, not the end of light, but a moment to learn that the light still exists even when unseen. Many, when I grow quiet, run to fill the void with other sounds. They plunge into activity, emotion, or endless searching. But those who stop, sit still in the darkness, and still choose to believe, still choose to love, still choose to wait, they will see the dawn rise within their souls. For everyone who seeks shall find, and to the one who knocks the door will be opened. But to seek is not to seek half-heartedly. To knock is not to knock casually. I do not hide to frustrate you, but to draw you to search with all your heart, like a lover chasing the familiar voice, like a lost child longing for the sound of the Father, like a wanderer in the desert craving a drop of water. This search is transformation. It is where the soul is refined, where the temporal burns away, leaving only one desire to dwell in me. But you must understand, my grace has a boundary. Grace is not an endless river for those who mock its source. If you continue to ignore my voice, you will reach a point where my Spirit no longer convicts, not because I abandon you, but because I honor your choice. That is the most dreadful thing to no longer hear. Me not because I have stopped speaking, but because you have stopped listening. When silence feels normal, when the memory of light no longer stirs your longing, the soul has entered a winter without end. I do not desire this for you, my child. I speak these words not to terrify you, but to awaken a holy fear, the kind that makes the soul tremble back to life. Let that fear lead you to repentance, not despair. Let it move you toward me, not away from me. For I never reject a soul that humbles itself. Even if you have wandered 1,000 miles, one step toward me will reveal that I have been standing there all along, not with a whip, but with open arms. My child, have you ever felt as though your prayers fell into emptiness? Have you lifted your eyes to the heavens and heard only silence? Do not think I have forgotten you. I still hear every sigh, count every tear, and remember every whisper. But I allow silence, so you may learn to trust without evidence, so that your faith may rest not on emotion, but on my nature. As Abraham did when he saw nothing but a promise, he still believed, and it was credited to him as righteousness. That is the faith I long to cultivate in you. Do not fear the dark. It is in the night that stars shine brightest. It is in silence that my word resounds most clearly. It is in the distance that love proves itself. I am teaching you to love me, not for what I give, but for who I am. And when you learn this, you will enter a communion no silence can break, no trial can shake, no shadow can conceal. Let this silence become not a wall but a bridge. Let the emptiness be not punishment but invitation. Let every moment of my hiddenness become an opportunity to hunger, deeper love, deeper, believe, deeper. For when you seek me with all your heart, you will not only find me, you will find yourself the true image I placed within you from the beginning. My beloved child, how long have you lived in a silence? You no longer notice a silence, not of peace, but of emptiness. You speak, yet your words never reach heaven. You listen, yet you no longer recognize my voice. You walk, yet you do not know where you are going. And then you whisper, I'm fine, while your soul quietly withers in a dryness beyond name. Today I speak to you. When your soul begins to feel empty, it is not the sign of an ending, but of an awakening. For only when the soul realizes its emptiness can it long to be filled. Only when you know you are lost can you begin to find your way home. And only when you taste my silence can you understand the sweetness of my word once more. Stop now. Silence the noise around you. Let your heart listen to the faint cry beneath layers of numbness, to the gentle whisper of my spirit you've long ignored. That voice has never disappeared. It was only drowned out. I am reviving it now. Let your heart soften, for hard soil can bear no fruit. Do you remember David's prayer, "Do not take your Holy Spirit from me"? Psalm 5, 111. He did not fear losing his crown or his power. He feared losing my presence. Moses too once said, "If your presence does not go with us, do not send us from here." Exodus 3:3-1-5. These men understood that my absence is more terrible than any trial, for trials can be overcome, but the void between the soul and me is a bottomless abyss. I say this not to sow fear, but because my love is too great to tolerate half-heartedness. I love you too much to let you live in false peace. I allow restlessness to rise within you, to awaken your spirit from the slumber of compromise. I let what you rely on collapse, so you may see that only I am the firm foundation. I allow loneliness among crowds, so you will realize no one else can fill the space created for me alone. And when you finally turn, you will find that I was never gone. I was waiting for you, in the silence, whispering still, "Come home, my beloved child." There will be times when you feel as though I am silent, yet within that silence I am at work. Like a seed lying in the earth, seeming dead yet truly germinating, I am letting your faith send down deep roots, pushing beyond the layer of emotion, piercing through the veil of doubt, anchoring itself in eternal truth. When you can no longer hear me, I am teaching you to believe. When you cannot see me, I am teaching you to live by faith and not by sight. When you do not feel me, I am teaching you to love with steadfast fidelity rather than fleeting sensation. And when you begin to hunger for me again, my child, heaven rejoices, for there is no joy greater than the return of a soul. Every sob you utter becomes a hymn in the courts above. Every "forgive me" you whisper becomes a beam of light that drives back the darkness. Every tear of repentance becomes a precious jewel in the crown of salvation. You think you are crawling through the night, yet in truth you are moving nearer to the light than ever before, for light always seeks those who are willing to acknowledge their own darkness. I know you are afraid that you have gone too far, afraid that I have grown weary of you, afraid that the door has closed. But look to the cross where my only Son stretched out his arms, not only to die, but to keep that door forever open. His blood still speaks, his intercession still resounds. Father, forgive them, Luke 2:3-4. I do not shut the door on the one who seeks to return. I close it only to the heart that refuses love. And if you are longing to come back, you have never been refused. Look within your soul and you will see that I have never truly been far. I am in the tears you shed without knowing why, in the moments of unaccountable regret, in every sigh you mistook for weakness. Each one is an invitation, a call, a doorway opening for you to come home. You do not need to search for me in distant places, only open your heart and I will be present. For I have declared, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Revelation 3:20. Let your repentance be more than tears. Let it be a true turning. Do not merely say you wish to return. Rise and walk. Leave behind the habits that lead you away from me. Separate yourself from the voices that draw you from the path of righteousness. Renounce every soul tie with darkness, even those you once considered small. Dare to pray, Lord, burn away in me everything that is not of you, and I will. I will burn not to destroy, but to refine, not to punish but to heal. When you return, do not fix your gaze on the past in shame, but on the future in grace. Your sin has been nailed to the cross, and your past buried in my Son's tomb. Step out of the ashes and put on the new robe of righteousness. Do not let sin define you. Let my love reshape you. You are not imprisoned by failure. You are set free to become a witness of grace. In the very place where you fell, I will make you stand stronger. Where you once wept, I will teach you to sing. Where you were weak, I will make you an instrument of restoration for others. I say to you, the night does not last forever. Dawn is approaching. Light is slipping into the darkest corners of your soul. You will hear my voice again, not as a distant echo, but as a near breath. You will feel my presence again, not as a consuming blaze, but as an embracing arm. You will know that I never truly left. I waited for you to return, so that you might see more clearly, more deeply, more truly, who I am, who you are, and why I called your name from the beginning. Believe this, I have never been absent from love. Even if you travel to the end of the night, my hand is there. Even if you drift upon a desolate sea, my eyes are upon you. Even if you sink into the dust, I kneel to lift you. For I am not only Creator, I am Father, and a father's love never abandons you halfway. Let this very night become the starting point of resurrection within your soul. When you bow your head, I will raise it. When you weep, I will wipe your tears. When you say, I have lost you, I will answer, no, I am still here. Let the echo of absence become the prelude to the triumph of presence. For I who seem silent now speak, arise, my child, for your light has come. Isaiah 6:01. My beloved child, when the first light touches your soul after long nights of darkness, you may feel both relief and fear. Relief, because you know I have never left. Fear, because you see how far you wandered. Be at peace, for in that darkness, the holiest work has taken place, awakening. Not the awakening of the mind, but of the soul, as it opens its eyes and realizes that light never vanished. It was merely hidden behind the walls you built. Darkness is not my enemy, child. It is my instrument, a silent teacher, a terrain where the soul learns to listen, to believe, to stand when nothing else can be grasped. I allow the night not to ruin you, but to refine you, to strip away the garments of pride, to bring you back to the honest nakedness of a heart that knows it needs grace. For light finds its true worth when it shines in the deepest night. As you walk through the dark, I know you asked, Lord, where are you? And that trembling question was itself a beautiful prayer. Only a soul that still believes dares to ask it. Had you lost all faith, you would have ceased to call my name. So do not be ashamed of your cries in the night. They are proof that the light has not gone out. Like Job, who cried from the ashes, though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. Job 1:3-1:5. This is faith refined by fire, love beyond emotion, the voice of a soul truly awakened. Awakening does not spring from comfort. It does not bloom on gentle days, but on nights watered by tears. When every foundation crumbles, when prayers seem to fall into silence, when you feel forsaken there, the seed of true knowing breaks the soil. Awakening is not something you learn. It is etched into your soul by every tear, every wound, every moment you still choose to believe. You once thought darkness was a sign of judgment, but in truth, it is the beginning of healing. I lead you through the night not to make you fall, but to teach you to see with the eyes of faith. The light you see with the natural eye is passing. The light perceived by trust never fades. I am teaching you to find me not only in the miracle but in the waiting, not only in victory but in the tears that endure, not only in thunderous words but in the gentle silence of my spirit. Many fear the dark, not knowing that within it the soul is reborn. When every outer lamp is extinguished, you are compelled to turn inward to the flame that truly burns. And there you discover that I have dwelt in you from the beginning. I am not far above the storm, I am within it. I am in the breath and the trembling beat of your heart. When you shake with fear, it is I who hold you. When you fall, it is I who support you. When you are silent, it is I who speak through the silence itself. My beloved child, remember, this Moses met me not in the palaces of Egypt, but in a burning bush within the wilderness. Elijah heard my voice not in the windstorm, nor in the earthquake, nor in the fire, but in the gentle whisper that followed 1 Kings 1:9-1:12. And Jonah, trapped in the belly of the fish in the thickest darkness, cried out, and I answered, Therefore do not despise the night. It is the place where those I choose are formed. Darkness is the classroom where I speak softly, the furnace where I test hearts, the shaping ground where I remake your being. My child, there are lessons I can teach only at night. The brightness of day is too dazzling for you to see what is hidden within. When you stand in glory, my voice is easily drowned out by the applause of the world. But in the night, when all else fades, when you find yourself alone, my voice becomes clearer than ever before. Night is not the absence of light. It is the environment where light reveals its true essence. And when your soul learns to sing in the darkness, daylight will no longer make you proud. Let this night be your teacher, not your thief. Do not fear when feelings vanish, for emotions are not the foundation of faith. Do not panic when signs disappear, for signs are not proof of my love. Trust that each time I am silent, I am laying a deeper foundation within you, so that when light returns, you will stand firm, no longer built on what is seen but on the unseen, one who always is. Do you not see? Even in darkness, trees grow. In the soil's hidden chambers, seeds break open. In the womb, life takes shape. So too, in the spiritual night, I am performing my most intricate work, turning weakness into strength, fear into courage, despair into hope. You do not need to see me to know that I am working. Like a river flowing beneath the earth, grace moves within you, even when your eyes cannot perceive it. When you feel you have nothing left, that is when you truly possess everything, for you have me. When you have no words left to pray, just breathe, for even your breath becomes prayer. When you have no strength left to walk, kneel, for bent knees are the beginning of victory. When no light remains closed, your eyes for faith will see what sight cannot. And when the night feels unbearably long, know that dawn is only one breath away. My child, I do not promise that the journey of awakening will be easy, but I promise it will be worth it. For you will never live the same again. A soul that has walked through night will no longer tremble at shadows. A heart touched by silence will no longer crave noise. One who has found me in stillness will no longer doubt when I am silent again. You will emerge like gold, refined by fire, like wheat, crushed and made whole, perhaps small in the eyes of men, yet of immeasurable worth in my hands. So do not fear the night. It has not come to bury you, but to birth you anew. Let me lead you through it, not to escape the darkness, but to find the light within it. For I am the light of the world, and the darkness cannot overcome me. And when you are truly awakened, you will see the most dreadful thing is not the night, but to walk in the light without knowing that I am there. My beloved child, the darkness you once feared has now become the faithful companion of your soul. It is no longer an abyss that swallows you, but a sacred refuge, a quiet sanctuary where you and I can commune without distraction. In the dark, you have learned to listen not with your ears, but with your heart. You have learned to see not with your eyes, but with faith. You have learned to walk without a map, for now you know that I, myself, am the way. You no longer fear losing direction, because you have discovered that the destination is not a place, it is the one who walks beside you. My child, the true miracle of the night is not when it ends, but when you begin to see the light within it. That is when the eyes of your spirit open and you realize that I never left. I have been there all along, in every silence, every tear, every sigh, every heartbeat. When you understand this, darkness loses its power to terrify you. It becomes a veil through which my light shines even more beautifully, for my light does not compete with the night, it shines through it. You once thought I could only be found in miracles, in answered prayers, in victories easily seen. But now you know I am also in the waiting, in the silence, in the loss, and in the tears. True love is not proven by comfort, but by constancy it endures even among ruins. In what seems meaningless, I am writing the most sacred chapters of your story. The darkest pages are often the ones where my light is etched the clearest. When your soul has walked through the night, you will see everything differently. You will no longer see pain as punishment, but as transformation. You will no longer see darkness as an enemy, but as a teacher. You will no longer flee from silence, but will listen to it as the whisper of grace. You will begin to understand that everything I allow carries a divine purpose, not to break you, but to draw you closer to me. Remember Joseph, who sat forgotten in prison, yet I was preparing him for the throne. Remember David, who hid in the cave, thinking himself forsaken while I was shaping him into a king. Remember Hezekiah, who turned his face to the wall in despair, and I gave him years of glory. So it is with you. The seasons when I seem silent are the very seasons when I am preparing something greater than you can imagine. Spiritual maturity is not born from understanding. It is born from surrendering in the absence of understanding. When you still believe amid uncertainty, that is faith. When you still worship through tears, that is love. When you remain faithful in silence, that is communion. And in those moments your soul is rising closer to heaven than ever before. For I do not measure love by words, but by your willingness to choose me, even in the dark. My light was never given to drive away every shadow, but to teach you how to see me within the shadow. If light only makes you happy, it is not yet deep. But if light helps you believe, when all you see is a fragile hope, that is the light of heaven. I have not promised that you will understand all things, but I have promised that all things work together for good to those who love me. Romans 8:8. Good does not always mean easy. It means purposeful. Every tear has its reason. Every silence has its lesson. Every trial carries a seed of grace. I want you to live in the harmony of light and darkness. For in me they are not enemies, they serve the same plan. I am the one who causes both day and night to fulfill my purpose. When I give you daylight, it is for walking. When I give you night, it is for resting in me. If you thank me only for the day, you know but half of my love. But when you can bow and thank me for the night, when you say, "Thank you, Lord, for even the darkness belongs to you," then you have entered a depth of maturity the world cannot understand. Look back on your journey. Every tear, every sigh, every silence, each has become a jewel in your crown. They bear witness that you did not give up, that you believed even when you could not see, that you loved even when you could not feel. And I, your Father, remember every small act of faith. Every step you take in the dark is counted in heaven. Every whisper of your heart I hear more clearly than your breath. No sigh of yours falls to the ground without being lifted to me. Do you know what the greatest miracle is? Not when the night ends, but when you discover that I was in it. When you stop trying to escape it and begin to search for me within it. When you no longer ask, "When will this night pass?" but instead, "What do you want to teach me through this night?" Then the night no longer has power over you. You will see that light is not only at the end of the path, it is in every step you take. Remember this, always faith is not visible light, it is a flame within the heart shining just enough for the next step. You do not need to know the whole path. You only need to know that I am walking with you. When you hold my hand, you will discover that every step in the dark hums with grace. Every breath in silence carries the fragrance of love. And when you emerge from the night, you will not come out empty-handed. You will carry the light that was forged in the depths of your soul. Be grateful for the night, for without it you would never know how radiant the dawn could be. Without tears you would never understand the weight of joy. Without silence you could not discern the true voice. Without darkness you would not recognize how precious light is. I give you both, so you may know that my love is not only for the brightness of day, but also for the sacred hush of night. And when you have learned this, you will become a lamp in the world, not one that shines only when things are calm, but one that burns through the storm, through the tears, through the fiercest winds. For the flame within you does not come from you, it comes from me, the flame of the Holy Spirit, the fire that never dies. Now you can stand unafraid in the night. For you know that I am the light that cannot be extinguished, and you awakened within the darkness have become the bearer of that light. You are no longer one swallowed by the night, but one who walks through it with open eyes, beholding my glory in what once seemed hopeless. My child, the night has fulfilled its purpose. The darkness has taught you what daylight never could. And now as the dawn rises, you will step forward not as one who merely survived, but as one who has been born again. And when you see the first light, you will no longer fear the night, for now you know both night and day are songs of my love. My beloved child, after you have walked through the long night and found me in the darkness, now comes the time for a new season, the season of fire. Do not be afraid, for this is not the fire of destruction, but the fire of refinement, of grace, of transformation. Every soul I choose must pass through fire, for no flame of mine ever comes without leaving behind the mark of holiness. My fire does not come to burn you, but to consume everything that keeps you from becoming like me. Remember, my child, I am fire. I am the flame that burns, but is never extinguished, the one who appeared to Moses in the bush that blazed, but was not consumed. Exodus 3:2. That fire was not a mere symbol, it was a revelation of my nature. I am the fire of love that never ceases, the holiness that never compromises, the light that no darkness can quench. And when I enter a soul, I come as a refining fire, not to condemn, but to make that soul as pure as gold tested in the furnace. This fire, beloved, is not comfortable. It does not soothe, it penetrates. It reaches into the hidden places, shines upon what you have long concealed, and exposes the corners you dared not face. It will feel as though you are losing everything, but in truth you are only losing what was never needed. My fire burns away pride, melts hypocrisy, and thaws the layers of fear and self-protection. It will leave you bare, yet in that bareness you will discover that you are clothed in love itself. Many pray for transformation, but when the fire arrives, they flee. They forget that true transformation always requires fire. Without fire, there is no gold. Without testing, there is no holiness. Without pain, there is no resurrection. Every structure I build begins with tearing down the old, and every soul I use must first be melted before it can be reshaped. I am never afraid to break what is old, for I know I will raise it anew in greater beauty. Listen carefully, for this is vital. The fire of mine does not come from without, but from within. When my spirit dwells in you, he not only comforts but cleanses. You will begin to feel a stirring deep inside. What once satisfied now feels empty. What once pleased now unsettles you. That is the inner fire at work. It will press you to repent. It will disturb you when you drift away. It will call you higher. Do not quench this fire, my child, for it is the sign that I am still alive and working within you. Remember those whom I have used throughout Scripture. All of them walked through fire. Abraham faced the flame of surrender when he offered Isaac. It burned the father's heart, yet purified his faith. Joseph was betrayed, enslaved, and imprisoned. The fire did not destroy him. It forged him into a ruler. David fled for his life, hiding in caves. The fire did not end him. It made him a man after my own heart. Even my son, Jesus, passed through the fire of suffering, and from the ashes of the cross, the light of redemption rose. My fire always carries two faces, pain and rebirth. Pain, because it takes away what you cling to. Rebirth because it gives you what can never be lost. There can be no resurrection without death, no glory without the cross, no fire of the Spirit without the surrender of all lesser flames, those of lust, of pride, of self. I know you fear loss. You fear that if I burn everything, nothing will remain. But I never take away without intending to give something better. I burn not to destroy, but to set free. Everything I remove, I replace with what is eternal. Everything I break, I rebuild in glory. Everything you surrender, I turn into a testimony of grace. When the fire comes, do not resist it. Let it consume the disguise, the hardness, the illusion. Let it reach the deepest chambers where fear hides, where the past still binds, where wounds still bleed. I do not come to shame you, but to heal. And true healing only comes when wounds are exposed to light. My fire does not condemn. It restores by burning away what defiles. The fire of mine never burns what belongs to me. It only consumes what stands between us. Gold does not fear the flame. Only the impurities within it melt away. You do not lose your worth in the furnace, you lose what has hidden your true worth. For I formed you in love, and that love cannot be destroyed by fire. It can only be made more radiant through it. So let me forge you. Let me shape you anew in my hands. Let these flames become the labor pains of new birth, not the pain of loss. For you are being born into a new life, the life of one who knows what it means to be burned yet not consumed, stripped yet not empty, tested yet not destroyed. You will feel my fire in every conviction of the Spirit, in every moment that humbles you, in every person I send to refine your heart through friction. Each time you choose forgiveness over revenge, love over withdrawal, humility over defense, my fire is burning brightly within you. Do not flee the fire. Stand within it in trust. Let my word be your armor amid the flame. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not consume you. Isaiah 4:3-2. I do not promise you will not feel the heat, but I promise you will not be destroyed. The fire I send is measured, controlled by my own hand. It burns only as far as needed for purification, never beyond what you can bear. Look again, my child. The very fire you fear is the place where my glory will appear. When you emerge, you will not be the same. Your eyes will shine clearer. Your words will carry weight. Your heart will beat softer. You will bear the fragrance of fire, the scent of holiness, of wisdom, of one who has met God. And all who come near you will feel the warmth of my presence flowing from you. Therefore, do not pray that I extinguish the flame. Pray that I keep you standing within it. Do not run from pain, let it give birth to faith. Do not dread being burned, for in the fire you are being forged into a vessel I can use. And when the fire has finished its sacred work, you will step out not as ashes, but as a torch carrying my light into the world. My beloved child, in the beginning, when my fire first touched you, you trembled. You felt pain as everything you once clung to began to burn away, as what you thought was secure turned suddenly to ash. You could not understand why I allowed it, but now, after dwelling in the flame for a while, you begin to see something deeper. This fire did not come to take you away. It came to return you to yourself, to the original design I shaped before. The foundations of the world, before sin or fear ever cast a shadow. You are learning what few ever understand, that surrender within the fire is the highest form of freedom. When you stop resisting, when you cease struggling against the flame, you will feel a strange peace, the peace of a soul that no longer strives to protect what was meant to die or to hold on to what I am replacing with something far greater. Surrender is not defeat. It is absolute trust that my hand governs the flame. Everything in you that must be reborn must pass through fire. I cannot pour new wine into old skins. I cannot reveal a new vision to a heart still unhealed. I cannot place a crown on a head still bowed to idols. The fire is how I make room for the new. It does not only burn, it reshapes. Like the potter who places clay into the furnace not to destroy but to strengthen and refine it, I am doing the same with you. You will feel my fire not only in hardship but in every calling that stretches you beyond yourself. When I ask you to do what feels impossible, to forgive the one who wounded you, to love the unlovable, to believe in the midst of disappointment, that is my fire stirring within you. Each time you say yes, the fire grows stronger, and with every act of obedience, you are refined again. Your surrender is the fuel that keeps the flame burning, and the more it burns, the more you begin to look like me. There is a kind of pain I allow, the pain of transformation. It is not the pain of loss or punishment, but the pain of birth. When a soul is being reborn, it must tear free from its old shell. That is when you feel yourself melting unrecognizable, because I am breaking down the old form to remake you in my image. And though this may feel like emptiness, know that emptiness is simply the sign that space has been made for the new. Do not fear the fire. Learn to love it, for it is the sign of my nearness. The souls I choose to use most powerfully are the ones I keep closest to the flame. Moses saw me in the burning bush. Isaiah felt the burning coal touch his lips before he could speak my word. The disciples were immersed in the fire of the Holy Spirit on Pentecost, and from that moment they were no longer fearful men, but blazing torches to the world. So it is with you. The very fire surrounding you today is the promise that I am preparing to send you forth, shaping you for a mission beyond your imagination. But you must learn this truth: my fire cannot dwell in a divided heart. You cannot cling to the old and still receive the new. You cannot grasp the world and still long for heaven. You cannot pray for fire and shrink back from its heat. The flame remains only in the heart fully surrendered. When you offer me everything, what you love, what you fear, what you do not yet understand, I pour out even more fire, and that fire will not harm you. It will clothe you in the radiant holiness of my presence. Do you remember when the 3 friends of Daniel were thrown into the blazing furnace? They were not burned, and in the midst of the fire there was a 4th figure walking with them. That was me, Daniel 3:2-5. Do you see, I did not stand outside the fire to watch. I was in the fire with them, and so it is with you. I am not observing you from afar. I am within the fire you face, walking with you, enduring the heat with you, standing firm beside you. The difference between the one who is destroyed and the one who is refined is simply this: where I am in their story. And when you understand that, you will begin to look upon the flame with new eyes. You will no longer ask, "Why is this happening?" but, "Lord, what are you shaping through this?" You will not dread the fire but anticipate it, because you know it brings revelation, holiness, and preparation for glory. When you let the fire teach you, nothing can shake you again. For a soul forged in flame will never be moved by the wind. My child, surrender does not mean losing your personality or your dreams. It means letting me refine them. I do not extinguish the fire within you. I direct it. I do not kill your passion. I sanctify it. I do not take away your desires. I transform them into purpose. When you give me everything, you will see that I do not take, I multiply. What you surrender in the fire, I return as light. There will be moments when you feel alone in this process, because not everyone will understand the fire I am working within you. Those who have not walked through the flame cannot comprehend the peace found in the midst of trial. They will tell you, calm down, cool off, compromise to make life easier. But my child, my fire cannot be negotiated. Whoever tries to quench it will lose their vitality. Therefore, guard the flame within you. Protect it through prayer, through my word, through obedience. Let it burn until all within you belongs wholly to me. The fire you are walking through today will be the light that shines through you tomorrow. The places where the flame has touched you will become the very places from which my glory radiates. The wounds of this season will become the marks of beauty and power. When you emerge from the fire, you will not only be restored, you will be transformed. The light in you will not only warm others, it will guide the lost through their own night. So be courageous, beloved. Stand firm in the fire. Let it teach you how to love without fear, to believe without seeing, to live without clinging to what fades. When you have learned these things, the flame will no longer burn you, it will become one with you. And you will shine as an eternal lamp in my temple, not by your strength but by my Spirit. That is perfect surrender, when you no longer fear being burned, but only fear that the flame might fade. For it is in the fire that you find me, and in me you discover the true meaning of life. My beloved child, the fire you once feared has now become your most faithful companion. It has done its work burning, purifying, reshaping, and now as you step out from its flame, you are no longer who you once were. You have been renewed from the inside out. You no longer merely believe. You bear the very mark of the fire, the sign known only to those who have been refined by it. Your eyes now see more deeply, your heart beats to a different rhythm, and your soul shines with a brilliance that no light of this world could ever bestow. Do you see it, my child? When the fire passes, you no longer carry the scent of ashes, but the fragrance of holiness. What was once your weakness has become the place where my grace is revealed most powerfully. The wounds that once bled have now closed, yet they are not hidden. They gleam as glorious scars, telling the story that I was there, that I touched, that I redeemed. Those who behold you will not hear your boasting, but will hear my voice resonating through your life. My child, the fire has given you something that no sermon could ever impart: the authority of truth. For only the one who has been burned understands the worth of living water. Only the one who has lost everything knows the meaning of gaining all things in me. Only the one who has tasted pain can pour out authentic compassion. And only the one who has walked through fire can carry my light to souls still wandering in the night. I did not permit the fire merely to make you a survivor. I allowed it to make you a bearer of the flame. Like the bush that blazed in the wilderness, yet was not consumed, so will you burn in me and never be destroyed. You will carry this light everywhere, not through noise or pride, but through the quiet authority of true love. For now you no longer need to prove anything. Your very presence has become the testimony. I have placed within you the fire of eternity, a flame that cannot be extinguished no matter how fierce the winds of life may blow. It is the fire of unshakable faith, of unconditional love, of pure holiness. This fire is not merely in you, it is you, for you have been united with my Spirit. From that moment, your soul ceased to be a fragile thing among the dust of earth and became a living spark of my kingdom in this darkened world. You have learned that pain is not the sign of my absence, but the proof of my nearness. You have discovered that silence is not punishment, but invitation. You have realized that trials do not come to break you, but to establish you. And now I can entrust to you what you were once too young to carry: the flame of calling. Remember, the fire you carry is not only the light that guides others, it is the light that must illuminate your own path daily. Transformation does not end when you step out of the flame, it only begins there. The fire must not remain a memory, it must be kept alive in the present. Guard it with humility, with prayer, with a heart that refuses to grow cold. For if you cease to seek me, the flame will dim, and a lamp without oil cannot light the way for anyone. I know there will be moments when you are tempted to return to comfort, to live as before, to avoid the next fire I may bring. But my beloved, a soul once transformed by flame can never again dwell in ashes. You have seen too much, known too deeply, felt too strongly to settle for mediocrity. You no longer belong to this world. You belong to the kingdom of light, where every trial, every tear, every fire is turned into glory. I have given you eyes of faith, hands filled with the strength of love, and a heart set ablaze with the longing of heaven. Go now and ignite. Do not fear your smallness, for a single spark is enough to drive back the night. Do not think yourself unworthy, for I am the one who makes little become much weakness, become strength, and ashes become the foundation of resurrection. The fire you carry is not for fame, but for service. It is not to make you admired, but to make you a restorer of broken souls. I am sending you to those who tremble in the night, to those who think I have left them, and through you I will whisper, I am still here. Let the flame within you warm their hearts. Let your light lead them out of their darkness. Be the living reminder that grace never fades and love never departs. But remember this, my child, to keep the fire you must stay close to me. Do not let it become a symbol, let it remain a living reality. Each day come before me as the priest, who every morning replenished the oil in the temple lamp. Do not let the ashes of fatigue, distraction, or fear smother the flame within you. Let my word be its breath, my presence its oil, and my love its heat. For only when you remain in me will the flame never die. Never forget the fire does more than make you shine. It makes you a witness. People will not be transformed by your words, but by the light you bear. They will see how you love even when wounded, how you forgive even when betrayed, how you stand firm even when tested, and they will know there is something divine in you. Then you will not need to explain me, you will embody me. My beloved child, this flame will lead you into new lands both within and beyond yourself. It will open your eyes to the things I am doing in the world, the quiet works of love, the streams of grace, the hidden miracles only those with spiritual sight can perceive. You will no longer see life through the lens of fear, but through the lens of glory. You will no longer see the fire as an ending, but as a beginning. For now you understand fire does not come to destroy, but to renew, not to take, but to give, not to wound, but to teach love, not to end, but to begin a life that cannot be extinguished. So go, my child, burn, but do not consume, blaze, but do not destroy. Stand strong, yet remain gentle. Walk through the world as one who carries the very light of the Spirit. And when they ask you, how did you come to shine with such a fire, smile, and say, I walked through the flame, and the flame was love. My beloved child, when the fire has finished its work, when all that needed to be burned has been consumed, and all that is pure has been forged in light, then your soul begins to enter union with me. This is the stage where the cries of trial are no more, where smoke no longer clouds your vision, and what remains is the deep stillness of a soul breathing in rhythm with heaven. In this realm, you and I are no longer two separate streams, but one living river, clear, refreshing, and full of life. My child, this union is not born from striving. It is the effortless merging of love itself. When you stop struggling to prove yourself worthy, when you cease trying to earn acceptance, you begin to see that you were never outside of me. Like a drop of water merging into the ocean, not losing its essence but expanding infinitely, you are invited to dissolve into me, not to vanish, but to become complete. From the dawn of creation, I breathed my breath of life into humanity. That same breath through the ages still flows within you. Every beat of your heart is a sign of my presence. Every breath you take is proof that I am still there. You have never been far from me. Only your mind forgot while your soul has always remembered. And now, after the fire, after the night, after the tears, you have returned to where it all began, where you and I are one. Union is not a distant mystery reserved for saints. It is the living reality of those who choose awareness. When you say, Lord, be with me, you forget that I have never left. But when you whisper, Lord, help me remember that you are here, then you are truly living in union. This unity is not built on emotion, but on the constant awareness that all you do in me. You do not need to search for me in lofty places or complex rituals. I am in the breath between your thoughts, in the kindness of your gaze. In every moment you choose forgiveness instead of resentment, Every act of love, however small, is a heartbeat of union. The world divides everything between sacred and secular, between prayer and life, between soul and body. But in me, there are no boundaries. All things belong to me. When you understand this, you will live undivided. You will no longer set aside time for me, for all time is mine. You will no longer come into my presence, for my presence is the very air you breathe. And you will never again leave me, for I am the life within you. Look at the lilies of the field. They neither toil nor plan, yet they bloom in my rhythm. Look at the birds of the air, they do not store yet. I feed them daily. They do not know the word union, but they live in it, for they do not resist me. Yet you, made in my image, have forgotten the simplest truth, that union is not something to be achieved, but something to be remembered. This oneness is not reserved for moments of quiet devotion in hidden places. It exists in every circumstance of your life. When you are weary, I am there no less than when you pray. When you are confused, I am no further than when you praise. When you fall, I do not withdraw. I lift you up with the same hands that bear the scars of love. Do not wait until you are perfect to draw near. It is your imperfection that invites me, and through it I reveal my perfection. I do not long to be known only by knowledge, but by living experience. I do not wish to dwell merely in your thoughts, but in your actions. I do not want you only to say, "The Lord is my life," but to let every breath proclaim it. True union is not found in words, but in choices, gestures, reactions, and breath. Then you will see that you and I are inseparable, and the peace the world cannot give will overflow within you. Some search for me in grandeur and ritual, in storm and earthquake, but you, my child, must learn to recognize me in the gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19:1-2. For I am not only in what is mighty, but in what is small. Not only in victory, but in humility. I do not hide in distance. I hide in nearness so close that you often overlook me. When you begin to live in union, the world around you will change, not because it disappears, but because your vision transforms. You will see me in what once seemed random. You will hear my voice in the words of others. You will sense my presence in the smallest moments, in the drop of rain, in a child's laughter, in the fading light of evening. For I am wherever love still flows, and wherever you love with a pure heart, there I dwell. My child, understand. This union with me does not call you to escape the world, but to bring heaven into it. You are not meant to flee life, but to infuse it with my life. When you work with faithfulness, I work through you. When you speak encouragement, I speak through you. When you lay your hands to heal, I touch through you. When you forgive, I love through you. You become a living vessel of my presence, not by striving, but by harmony between your heart and mine. This union is not a reward for the perfect, it is a gift for the open. It cannot be earned by merit, but received through surrender. It is not attained by effort, but entered through rest. For when you cease striving to reach me, you will realize you have always been in me, through me, and for me. My beloved child, when your soul has passed through the shadows, through the waters, through the fire, and through the silence, and now stands in the boundless peace beyond that, is the moment you have entered perfect communion with me. This is no longer the relationship of a seeker and the one sought, but the blending of two spirits, mine and yours, moving together in the shared rhythm of eternal life. Here there is no boundary between prayer and breath, between worship and being, between heaven and earth. All has become one unbroken, sacred song sung in the stillness of the soul. My child, communion is not the flight of emotion, but the harmony of essence. When you love, you are living in me. When you forgive, you are reflecting on me. When you kneel to wash another's feet, you are doing my work. This is what the world cannot understand, that true union does not strip away your humanity, it restores it. For you have been recreated in my image, and that image refined by the fire of grace now shines fully restored. Once you knew me through words, through signs, through answered prayers, but now you know me through your very existence. You no longer need proof, for my presence has become the air you breathe. You no longer say God is with me, but rather I am in Him, and He is in me. This is the reality for which Jesus prayed when He said, "That they may be one even as you, Father, are in me, and I in you." John 1:7-1. You are now living in the fulfillment of that prayer, a life of inseparable oneness. Communion is when your soul beats in rhythm with my heart. When I grieve, you feel the weight. When I rejoice, you glow. When my compassion stirs, you move. You no longer need me to command where to go or what to do. You simply know, for my will has become your nature. Like the river flowing instinctively toward the sea, your soul moves effortlessly with my desire. That is the highest freedom, no longer choosing between your will and mine, for the two have become one. In this union, you discover a sacred, secret separation is but an illusion. There is no inside or outside, no me and them, no sacred and profane. All things rest within my embrace. You begin to see the world not through judgment, but through mercy. You will see me in the weak, in the sinner, in the forgotten child, in the lonely elder, in the enemy who is hurting. For when you are one with me, you no longer see anyone by the flesh. You see each soul as carrying a spark of eternity, still glowing beneath the dust of the world, born from my own light. Do not think communion takes you out of the world. No, it roots you deeper in love for it, not because the world is lovable, but because I love it. My love in you will make you weep for those who do not yet know me. It will compel you to embrace the rejected and drive you into the darkest places to bring light. For true love does not retreat, it enters into suffering to reveal grace among the ashes. My child, when you live in communion with me, you will see me in all things and all things in me. Every drop of water will mirror the sky. Every breeze will speak comfort. Every grain of dust will carry the message of creation. You will realize that everything has been singing to me all along. You simply had not heard it. Now your soul is tuned to heaven's frequency, the frequency of love. Here you learn that prayer is no longer speech, but a state of being. Every act done in love becomes a prayer. Every breath of trust becomes praise. Every moment of conscious stillness is a meeting deeper than any ritual. You will no longer seek a time of prayer, for every hour will be prayer. When you eat, you give thanks. When you work, you worship. When you rest, you abide in grace. When you love, you continue my creation. True communion does not only fill your soul with peace, it makes you a bearer of that peace to the world. Others will come to you not because you know much, but because they feel safe in your presence. They may not understand why, but they will sense that being near you is being near light. That is how you know you are living in communion, when your mere presence becomes rest for weary hearts. You and I no longer speak with words, but with silence. Not the silence of distance, but the silence of perfect understanding. Like two souls in love who need no language, you and I will simply know. You will not need to ask, for you already know. You will not need to seek, for you already have. You will no longer fear losing me, for I am the very breath within you. My child, perfect communion is not the end, it is the beginning of heavenly life lived on earth. You will become a tree planted by streams of living water, always green, never withering. You will become a bird that rides the wind, not tossed by storms, but lifted by them. You will become a lamp that never goes out, for my oil within you will never run dry. Remember, union is not a state to keep, but a current to live in. Do not try to hold it as an experience, let it flow as your heartbeat. There will be moments when you feel far from me, but do not believe that feeling the ocean remains even when its waves are still. When you keep gratitude alive, communion will never leave you. When you love amid hardship, you remain united. When you trust through trial, you walk still in my light. Know this, my child, this oneness is not for you alone. Through you I long to extend it to many souls. You are living proof that my love can turn ashes into gold, tears into light, and trials into glory. Let your life be the living testimony of that truth. You need not persuade anyone, simply live as one who has seen me. Let me say this once more so it is carved upon your spirit. I am not far from you. I do not visit temporarily. I am the life within you. Everything you do, every breath you take, every beat you hear, all of it is me living through you. When you truly know this, you will cease to seek heaven elsewhere, for heaven has already unfolded within you. You will no longer pray for life is already pouring from you. You will no longer wait for miracles, for you yourself have become the miracle, the evidence of a love, without border, without condition, without end. And as you walk the earth with eyes aflame and a heart beating in rhythm with mine, the world will know that I am real, not through words, but through the light shining in your eyes. So live in this communion not as a fleeting moment, but as your constant state. Love, forgive, shine. Let every day be a hymn of unity, every deed, an act of love, every breath, a word of thanksgiving. For from this moment on you do not live for me, you live in me. My beloved child, when your soul has passed through the darkness, through the waters, through the fire, through the silence, and now stands within the boundless realm of peace, that is when you have entered perfect communion with me. This is no longer the relationship of a seeker and the one sought, but the merging of two spirits, mine and yours, moving together in the shared rhythm of eternal life. In this place there is no boundary between prayer and breath, between worship and existence, between heaven and earth. All has become one continuous sacred song, sung in the stillness of the soul. My child, communion is not the flight of emotion, but the harmony of being. When you love, you live in me. When you forgive, you reflect me. When you kneel to wash another's feet, you are doing my work. This is what the world does not understand. True union does not strip away your humanity. It makes you more human than ever, for you have been recreated in my image, and that image, refined in the fire of grace, now shines in full. Restoration. Once you knew me through words, through signs, through answered prayers, but now you know me through your very existence. You no longer need proof, for my presence has become the air you breathe. You no longer say, "The Lord is with me," but rather, "I am in him and he is in me." This is the realm Jesus prayed for you to enter when he said, "That they may be one just as you, Father, are in me, and I in you." John 1:7-1. You are now living in the fulfillment of that prayer, a life of inseparable oneness. Communion is when your soul beats in rhythm with my heart. When I grieve, you feel its weight. When I rejoice, you shine. When my compassion stirs, you move. You no longer need me to tell you where to go or what to do. You simply know, for my will has become your nature. Like a river flowing toward the sea without needing direction, your soul flows instinctively with my desire. This is the highest freedom, no longer choosing between your will and mine, for both have become one. In this communion, my child, you will discover a sacred truth. All separation is an illusion. There is no inside or outside, no me and them, no sacred or profane. All things rest within my embrace. You will begin to see the world not through judgment, but through mercy. You will see me in the weak, in the sinner and the forgotten child, in the lonely elder, in the enemy who is hurting. For when you are one with me, you no longer see anyone by the flesh. You see every soul as carrying a spark of eternity, still glowing beneath the dust born from my own light. Do not think communion draws you away from the world. On the contrary, it roots you deeper in love, for it not because the world is lovable, but because I love it. My love for you will make you weep for souls who do not yet know me. It will move you to embrace the rejected. It will send you into the darkest places to bring light. For true love does not flee suffering, it enters it to reveal grace among the ashes. My child, when you live in communion with me, you will see me in all things and all things in E. Every drop of water will mirror the heavens. Every breeze will speak of comfort. Every grain of dust will carry the message of creation. You will realize that everything has been singing to me all along, you simply had not heard it. Now your soul is attuned to the frequency of heaven, the frequency of love. Here you will learn that prayer is no longer speech, but a state of being. Every act done in love becomes a prayer. Every breath of trust becomes praise. Every moment of conscious stillness becomes a meeting deeper than any ritual. You will no longer seek a time of prayer, for every hour will be prayer. When you eat, you give thanks. When you work, you worship. When you rest, you abide in grace. When you love, you continue my creation. True communion not only fills your soul with peace, it makes you a vessel of that peace for the world. Others will come to you, not because you know much, but because they feel safe in your presence. They may not know why, but they will sense that being near you is being near light. That is when you will know you are living in communion, when your very presence becomes rest for weary hearts. You and I no longer speak through words but through silence, not the silence of distance but of perfect understanding. Like two souls in love who need no language, you and I will simply know. You will not need to ask, for you already know. You will not need to seek, for you already have. You will no longer fear losing me, for I am the very breath within you. My child, perfect communion is not an end but the beginning of heavenly life lived on earth. You will become like a tree planted by streams of living water, always green, never withering. You will become like a bird, soaring freely, not driven by the storm but lifted by it. You will become a lamp that never goes out, for my oil within you will never run dry. Remember, union is not a state to keep, but a current to live in. Do not try to grasp it as an experience. Let it flow as naturally as your heartbeat. There will be times you feel far from me, but do not believe that feeling the sea remains even when its waves are still. When gratitude stays alive, communion never leaves you. When you love amid hardship, you remain united. When you trust through trial, you still walk in my light. Know this, my child, this oneness is not for you alone. Through you I long to extend it to many souls. You are living proof that my love can turn ashes into gold, tears into light, and trials into glory. Let your life be the living testimony of that truth. You do not need to persuade anyone, simply live as one who has met me. Let me say this once more so it is etched into your spirit. I am not far from you. I do not come and go. I am the life within you. Everything you do, every breath you take, every heartbeat you hear, all of it is me living in you. When you truly know this, you will cease to seek heaven elsewhere, for heaven has already bloomed within you. You will no longer pray for life is already flowing through you. You will no longer wait for miracles, for you yourself have become the miracle, the evidence of a love without borders, without conditions, without end. And as you walk the earth with eyes ablaze and a heart beating in rhythm with mine, the world will know that I am real, not through words but through the light shining in your eyes. So live in this communion not as a fleeting moment but as your constant state. Love, forgive, shine. Let every day be a hymn of unity, every deed an act of love, every breath a word of thanksgiving. For from this moment on you no longer live for me, you live in me. My beloved child, now that your soul has been refined in the fire and your heartbeat has become one with mine, I declare the time has come for you to be sent forth, not to flee from the world but to bring the light of heaven into it. Everything you have endured, your tears, your darkness, your trials by fire, your communion with me was not in vain. It was preparation for this very moment, when you would become a living stream of my kingdom, flowing through the heart of humanity. I did not call you so that you might rest in comfort, but that you might become fruitful for my glory. The world does not need more empty words. It needs hearts that carry the breath of life. I send you not to prove your faith, but to reveal my nature through you. For when a soul is filled with light, it cannot hide it. True light cannot be concealed. You were created to shine. Hear this call as the sound of a trumpet upon the mountain. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Isaiah 6:01. You have lingered long enough in waiting in silence in preparation. Now is the time to step forth, not with noise, but with the quiet strength of one who has dwelt in my presence. Those who truly carry light do not need to announce it. Their very presence makes darkness retreat. My child, I send you not as a messenger bearing a sword, but as a torch bearing flame. I do not send you to condemn, but to illuminate and to heal. The world is weary of judgment. It is starving to see a love that is pure, a mercy that understands, a hope that does not fade. And you, my bearer of light, are the living sign of that love. You will not need to shout to be heard, for your presence itself will carry the resonance of heaven. To live out this mission, you must learn to walk within the world without being consumed by it. Be among people, but do not lose yourself in them. Touch suffering, but do not let it define you. Love deeply, but do not let love become a chain. You are the salt of the earth, to flavor, not to dissolve. You are the light of the world, to shine, not to be hidden. Many think a mission must be grand, but a true mission begins with small acts done with great love. When you embrace the hopeless, when you forgive while still bleeding, when you stand for truth, even when alone, then you are living your calling. I do not look for loud souls, but faithful ones. For in the small my kingdom expands. Never forget your mission is inseparable from intimacy with me. If you work for me but not in me, you will run dry. But if you work from me, you will be nourished by the very source of life. Do not let your calling become a burden. Let it be the overflow of communion. Just as the branch bears fruit, not by striving, but by abiding in the vine, so you too will bear fruit when you abide in me. Do not be anxious about scope or results. Success in my eyes is not measured by numbers, but by faithfulness and love. A single act done in me outweighs 1,000 deeds without me. Seek not the recognition of man, for your true reward is not of this earth. Do everything as unto me in quietness, in faithfulness, in joy, and heaven records every drop of sweat, every whispered prayer, every surrendered breath. When you walk in your calling, there will be moments of misunderstanding, opposition, and solitude. Do not fear them. Remember, all whom I used were misunderstood before they were exalted. Joseph was imprisoned before he reigned. Moses was rejected before he led his people through the sea. David was hunted before he was anointed king. And my own son Jesus was crucified before he rose. So fear not resistance, it is proof that you are on the right path. When I send you, I do not send you alone. My Spirit will dwell within you. He will be the voice in your thoughts, the warmth in your heart, the light guiding your steps. When you speak, He will place words upon your tongue. When you grow weary, He will renew your strength. When you are uncertain, He will direct your way. And when you are weak, He will remind you that my grace is sufficient. Trust that I have placed within you everything needed for this journey. Nothing is lacking. Remember, your mission is not to change the world by your own strength, but to become living proof that I exist. When others see you love without condition, forgive without limit, and stand firm without fear, they will know that I live in you. That is the greatest miracle, a human soul reflecting heaven in the midst of earth. Never forget, the world is not redeemed by your effort, but by my presence within you. You are not the Savior, you are the evidence of the Savior. So let your life point others not to your goodness, but to my love and power working through you. Live as a lamp set upon a hill, not to boast your light, but to guide others home. Let your light shine not to attract attention, but to awaken hope in weary hearts. Let the peace you carry not only steady you, but calm the storms within others. I do not need you to be famous. I need you to be faithful. I do not ask you to build an empire. I ask you to plant a seed. And when you do, I will cause it to grow, not by your plan, but by my perfect will. Know this, your mission does not end when a task is complete. It ends only when you return to me, when every ounce of your strength has been poured into the ocean of my love. And on that day you will hear these words, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." Matthew 2:5-3. So now rise with light in your eyes, with love in your heart, and with peace in your soul. Walk among the world not as a fearful warrior, but as an ambassador of heaven, carrying my breath, speaking my words, loving with my heart. I am in you, and you are in me, and no power in heaven, on earth, or in darkness can separate us. Go now, my little light, and let the world know that the light still shines, and it shall never be extinguished. My beloved child, when you step forth to fulfill the mission I have placed within your heart, do not expect to be greeted with garlands and songs. True light has always made darkness tremble, and because of that it will resist you. Do not be surprised when doors close, when misunderstanding rises, or when faces that once smiled now turn away. My child, that is not a sign that you have strayed from the path. It is proof that you are walking the right one. The world does not resist you because you are weak, but because the light within you exposes what the darkness tries to hide, and the enemy, unable to bear that light, will seek every subtle way to dim your flame. He will not always come in forms you fear, but through things that seem harmless, a compliment that feeds your pride, a fear that drains your courage, a dream that lures you away from my will. But hear me. Those who are chosen are never defeated from the outside. They fall only when they forget the one who sent them. Therefore guard your heart in purity, for a pure heart is the strongest fortress of one walking in divine purpose. When weariness finds you, remember the first fire the day you heard my voice, the moment your heart trembled with holy love. That memory will be your strength in the gray days. Do not let work pressure or loneliness make you forget why you began. Your mission is not sustained by passion, but by steadfast love born of communion. When you feel empty, do not push forward in your own strength. Return to me, for I am the source from which you were sent. There will be times when I allow you to walk through silence, not because I have abandoned you, but because I am teaching you to hear me in quietness. You may pray and feel no answer, but know that my silence is shaping your depth. Just as a seed hidden in the soil hears no sound of its own growth, yet lives, so your faith grows in seasons when no voice is heard. When the storm rises, remember, you were not called to flee from the waves, but to walk upon them. I once did this, and I call you to do the same in your own generation. You will not sink if your eyes remain fixed on me. If you look at the wind, you will see your weakness. If you look to the sea, you will see your smallness. But if you look at me, you will see that all things are possible. As you labor for me, there will be moments when your efforts seem meaningless, when no one responds, no one understands, no one stands with you. Yet never measure your work by human reaction, but by my gaze. For I do not measure results, I measure faithfulness. Even if you sow without seeing harvest, remember I have promised that every tear sown in faith will one day turn into songs of joy. I know the nights when you pray in exhaustion, the mornings when you wake in worry, the moments when the weight feels too heavy for your fragile hands. But hear me, true strength does not come from never growing tired, but from continuing even when you are. It is in your weakness that my grace is made perfect. So do not fear weakness. It is not failure, but an invitation to lean on me more deeply. When others judge you, remember they judged me too. When they reject you, remember they rejected me first. When they betray you, remember I bore that pain before you, and in that very pain I turned suffering into glory. So, my child, do not let bitterness take root in your heart. Let me turn your wounds into living waters that you may heal others from the very places you once bled. When you serve, let love lead, not ambition. Do not chase results to prove your worth. Let my presence within you be the only proof you need. If you seek recognition, you will soon grow weary. But if you seek only to please me, you will find joy that no one can steal. Anchor your heart in this one purpose, to glorify me in all that you do. Do not forget, every small act in your mission carries eternal value. When you comfort the sorrowful, you open heaven within them. When you speak a word of kindness, you light up a corner of darkness. When you stand for truth amid injustice, you plant a monument for generations to come. You may not see all the fruit, but I do. And I tell you, every tear, every prayer, every faithful step is engraved upon my hands. There will come a time when success itself will tempt you, when people praise you, when your work flourishes, when your words reach many. But in those moments, be more watchful than ever. The most dangerous temptation does not come through failure, but through success. If you let the light shine on you instead of through you, the flame will fade. Always remember, the glory is mine, and you are the mirror. Keep the mirror clean, and the light will never go out. Do not fear the long road. Do not fear solitude. Do not fear being forgotten. For I am there in every step you take, in every beat of your heart, in every breath you release. When you cannot see my footprints beside you, it is because I am carrying you. When you cannot hear my voice, it is because I am teaching you to walk by faith, not by feeling. When you think I am silent, it is because I am working quietly, preparing something greater than you can imagine. My child, remember this. Your mission is not about chasing victory, but about learning faithfulness in every season. There will be a time to sow, a time to water, a time to wait, and a time to reap. But through every season I remain the Lord of the field. No seed you plant is wasted. No step you take is meaningless. Each one weaves into the grand design I am unfolding through you. So when you grow weary, come to me. When you doubt, listen to me. When you are weak, let me be your strength. When you fear, look into my eyes. When you feel alone, remember I dwell within you. You never walk alone, for this mission is not your burden to bear. It is a partnership between you and me. Today I say to you, stand firm. Do not let the flame you carry be quenched by the winds of life, by the words of others, or by the shadows of fear. For this fire is not yours, it is mine. It does not depend on emotion, but on an eternal source that never runs dry. Guard it with faithfulness, with prayer, and with unwavering love. And as you keep this fire burning, the world will see me in you, not in thunderous power, but in the quiet radiance of steadfast grace. My beloved child, when you have walked the full road of service, when your hands are calloused from giving, when your heart is weary from loving, when your tears have fallen to the ground like hidden seeds, then I declare your glory has come. Not the glory of the victorious, but the glory of the faithful. The world may never remember your name, but heaven knows it well. No one may say thank you, yet I have seen every act of love, every quiet kindness, and I have engraved them upon my heart as stars that will shine forever in eternity. Those who are called are not defined by success, but by steadfastness in love. I do not demand perfection from you. I only ask that you do not give up. For every time you fell, I was there to lift you up. Every time you wanted to stop, I breathed life into your spirit again. You thought you were the one holding on to faith, but in truth, faith was holding on to you. You thought you were carrying the torch, but that flame was mine in you, one that has never gone out. My child, your reward is not found in what you have accomplished, but in who you have become. When you let my love shape you, when you let my mercy flow through you, when you let my light shine through your cracks, that is true victory. I am not seeking flawless heroes. I seek souls who dare to love through pain, to believe through darkness, to keep walking even when they cannot see the way. And you, my beloved, are one of them. I know the long nights when silence was your only companion, the heavy days when your shoulders trembled under invisible burdens. But look now, you are still here, still walking, still loving. That alone is proof that my grace has never failed you. I did not promise an easy road, but I promised to walk with you upon it, and you have known that truth in every breath. Your wounds are not marks of failure, but signs of faithfulness. Every scar is a love story between you and me. Do not think glory comes only after death. True glory begins the moment you live for the eternal. Each time you choose forgiveness over revenge, you bring heaven to earth. Each time you show patience amid injustice, you open the gates of my kingdom. Each time you love the undeserving, you defeat the powers of hell. That is a glory no one can take from you, for it is woven with threads of eternity. Know this, none of your labor is in vain. Everything sown in faith will bear fruit in my appointed time. You may not see the harvest with your eyes, but in the realm of heaven the field already blooms. There are souls you will never meet who will be saved, renewed, and restored because of the prayers you whispered, the sacrifices you hid, the tears you offered to me. And on the day I unveil all things, you will be amazed to see how many found light through your small flame. Do not measure your worth by the noise of the world. Let the silence of heaven be your measure. When you no longer need applause, I can trust you with true glory. When you no longer need to prove yourself, you finally know to whom you belong. When you no longer compare, you have found peace. You have overcome what few ever do. You chose love over pride, service over status, faithfulness over fame. I tell you this, everything done in my name will never be lost. A single prayer whispered in loneliness, a cup of water given to the thirsty, a smile shared in pain, each is written in the book of life. Nothing is small in my kingdom. No act is meaningless when done in love. What could be more precious than a life lived as light in the night, as salt in the earth, as a seed of hope in a broken world? Remember, you are not merely my servant, you are my friend. A servant obeys commands, but a friend knows the master's heart. You know me not through doctrine, but through companionship. You no longer pray to receive, but to remain. You no longer fear losing me, for I have become your very life. This is the glory of a faithful soul, to dwell in communion deeper than any earthly reward. Look back, my child. You began with trembling faith, with fear and doubt, but through every season I have shaped you into one who carries unquenchable light. When I called you, you said I am not worthy. Yet it was in that humility that I worked my greatest wonders. I used you to heal, to comfort, to reignite faith in hearts that thought they were lost. And now I say, you have pleased me well. I have not forgotten a single prayer you uttered, nor ignored a single sigh from your weary heart. Every groan in your solitude I have turned into a song of triumph. Every silent endurance I have written as a new chapter in the story of redemption. And when you thought you were but dust beneath the stars, I saw in you the beauty of a light that never fades. Now I give you a new mission, not one of doing, but of being. Be the breath of peace. Be water to thirsty souls. Be gentle light to the lost. Live so that those who encounter you feel that I am near. You need not speak much nor prove anything. Simply abide in me, and I will abide in you. Your presence, filled with my spirit, will become a testimony stronger than any sermon. Therefore, rest in the joy of the faithful. Walk through the world as one who has already overcome, not because you gained everything, but because you never lost what mattered most, your loyalty to love. Lift your head high, for the crown of righteousness awaits you, not made of gold or silver, but of the radiant light of souls saved through your life. The world may not know your name, but I do. Humanity may forget you, but heaven never will. And when you stand before my throne, I will smile and call you by the new name I have prepared, one that only you and I know, written in the light of all your years of faithfulness. Then you will hear my voice say, "Well done, my child. You have fought the good fight. You have kept the faith. You have finished the race. Now enter into the joy of your Lord." And in that moment, every tear will be wiped away, every pain dissolved, every sacrifice seen in the light of eternity. You will understand that nothing you did, nothing you endured, was ever in vain, for all of it became part of the magnificent tapestry of my kingdom's glory. My beloved child, now that every burden has been laid down as the noise of the world dissolves into silence and your breath joins the rhythm of eternity, I say to you, you are home. No longer the weary traveler on a rugged path, no longer wandering through deserts of trial. You now walk with the weightless steps of a soul that has found its true homeland. This is the place your heart has always longed for, even when you could not name it, where every dream finds fulfillment, every wound finds healing, and every midnight cry becomes a song. You have walked a long road, my child, from innocence to wisdom, from fragile faith to deep understanding, from the darkness of fear into the radiance of love. Every step you took was recorded in my heart. Not one tear fell unnoticed, not one prayer rose unheard. And now every pain endured, every sacrifice made, every whispered yes in loneliness has been woven into a crown of glory. This is not an ending, it is the beginning of what never ends. Life on earth was only the vestibule. Eternity is the true sanctuary. Every joy you ever knew on earth was but the faint reflection of the joy that lives here. Every love you ever gave was only the prelude to the perfect love you now enter. There is no more boundary between heaven and earth, between now and forever, between life and death, only the fullness of the presence, who made you, guided you, and waited for you since before time began. You no longer need to seek, for what you sought was me, and I am here. You no longer ask, "Where are you, Lord?" For everything around you now sings, "He is here." This light, it is me. This peace, it is me. The wordless song rising within your soul, it is me. You are in me, and I am in you. And here nothing can separate us again. When the soul enters eternity, everything once tangled becomes clear. You will see that every detour led precisely home, that every tear watered flowers you had not yet seen bloom. You will understand that I never left you, not even in your loneliest hour. In silence I was there, teaching you to trust beyond sight. The fires that once burned you were only refining flames, turning you into pure gold. And now you shine with my own light, a star reborn after a long night. Here all the weights of time fall from you like an old garment. You are no longer bound by years, nor haunted by loss, nor chained to regret. Everything heavy dissolves in an instant the moment your eyes meet mine, and you realize that what you longed for all along was contained in that gaze. Like a lost child finding the embrace of their father, your soul bursts into a peace too deep for words. This is the realm where fear is melted by omnipotent love, where sorrow turns into praise, where every scar becomes beautiful, for it tells the story of grace. Here there is no struggle between light and dark, only light. No border between tears and laughter, only fullness. No was, is, or will be, only the eternal now, where you and I exist as one unbroken breath. You have heard of heaven's glory, my child, now you see it with the eyes of your soul. Here colors have sound and light has fragrance. Every spirit sings the same song, the anthem of love unchanging. There is no need for the sun, for I am the light. No need for a temple, for I am the dwelling. No need for prayer has become eternal communion. When you behold me, you will no longer ask anything. Every question will fade, not because I give an answer, but because I am the answer. You will no longer need to understand, for understanding will merge into the knowing of love. You will no longer search for meaning will have become your very being. Then you will see that you were never lost. You were simply being led home along paths of divine design. In eternity, you will be reunited with those you love, souls who walked before you in faith, who prayed beside you, who wept and believed with you through the dark nights. There will be no more partings, no more farewells, only reunion in the light. They will smile and say, "We knew you would come." And as you look back, you will see that every separation was only temporary, every loss, a preparation for a deeper love. This, my child, is the reward that can never be taken away to dwell forever in my presence. No time is long enough, no distance wide enough to separate you from this love. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor powers, neither things present nor things to come, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate you from the love of God. Romans 8:3, 8:39. This is not merely a promise, it is the reality you now live in this very moment. You are home, you are mine, and love, only love, remains forever. My beloved child, when your soul rests in my embrace, when every tear has been wiped away, when the winds of time fall silent, you begin to see what mortal eyes could never behold, the oneness of all things in me. Everything once fragmented now gathers into a perfect symphony where every note, every breath, every star, every soul sings together one eternal song, the song of unending love. My child, this is the revelation. Only those who have walked through the journey of earth can understand that every sorrow, every loss, every winding path was a movement in the divine symphony I composed. No detail was wasted, no tragedy without meaning, no tear fell without becoming a gem in the crown of glory. From the smallest shard of pain to the brightest triumph, all have been woven together by my hand for one purpose, that love might be revealed in fullness. Love is not merely something I do, it is what I am. I do not possess love, I am love itself. And because you were created in my image, you too were woven from that same thread of love. Everything that ever existed, light, sound, matter, spirit, flows from this source, and now everything returns to it. There is no longer separation between the sacred and the ordinary, between holy and human, for all has been sanctified in the radiance of perfect love. I show you now what even the angels long to see, the great reunion of creation in me. Every star sings, every planet hums, every wind whispers praise, for all recognize the rhythm of the Creator who awakened them. There is no longer distance between heaven and earth, for the heavens have kissed the earth in a union of grace. The walls that sin once raised between human and human, between humanity and me, have been dissolved in the light of restoration. The universe was never chaos. It was a poem too vast for mortals to read to the end. Now you see, every orbit moves to the heartbeat of my will. Every living thing breathes with my breath. Every being reflects a fragment of my essence. And as all returns, creation itself becomes not a place but a song, the great hymn of love that created, redeemed, and completed all things. Now, my child, you understand every war fought, every drop of blood spilled, every sin committed, could not undo my design. For I wrote this story with the ink of redemption and the pen of grace. Death thought it had triumphed, but I used it as the doorway to life. Darkness thought it had swallowed the light, but the light pierced it to show that love's flame can never be extinguished. Behold, I show you a wonder. All creation is being restored. Every soul, every creature, every drop of water and speck of dust is soaked in the radiance of new life. There is no more mourning, no more hatred, no more division, for all has been reconciled in me. I will bring all things in heaven and on earth together under Christ. Ephesians 1:10. And now you see this not as a promise, but as the living reality unfolding before your eyes. In this light there is no longer I and you know them, and us only, the single essence of love, breathing, singing, and living. Every soul once lost finds its way home. Every wound in history is healed by mercy. Every cry of the earth, every groan of creation is answered by my voice. Behold, I make all things new. Revelation 2:1-5. And in that moment you witness the universe reborn not by fire of destruction but by the fire of resurrection. When you look at my hands, you will still see the marks of the nails, not as wounds, but as the memory of victorious love. Every sorrow that once weighed upon the earth is now transfigured into glory, for love does not erase memory. It transforms it into light. Nothing is forgotten in eternity. Everything is redeemed to magnify grace. Even the ashes of failure gleam in my gaze, for I have turned humanity's darkest hour into the brightest testament of heaven's compassion. Now, my child, you see the secret of life itself, that love is the pulse sustaining all creation. If love were to cease even for a moment, the stars would fall, atoms would dissolve, souls would vanish. But because I never cease to love, everything lives, moves, and sings within me. This is the truth. The sages sought, the prophets glimpsed, the saints tasted, but only in eternity can you see it whole. Behold, I show you a new universe blooming in light, free of fear, free of pain, free of death. Every soul shines with its own light, and those lights do not compete but merge into one great ocean of glory. No one is overshadowed, for in true glory, each shines fully without dimming another. You see now that I designed every soul with a unique tone in the melody of eternity, and only when all sing together is the symphony of love complete. Now you understand why I once said the kingdom of God is within you. For heaven is not a place but a state of the soul in union with me. When love is perfected, eternity begins. When forgiveness is absolute, the wound disappears. When you see me in all things, there is nothing left to fear, nothing left to seek, only love endlessly unfolding. As you merge into this eternal current of love, you see that every prayer, every longing, every breath of humanity converges into one center, me. I am the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega, the first breath and the final song. In me all begins, all rises again, and all is fulfilled. And now, my beloved, I tell you, the new heaven and the new earth are no longer a prophecy, but a reality. The former things have passed away, and everything is made new in my love. There is no distance, no cry, no tear, only the radiance of grace covering all that exists. And you, faithful soul, are part of that light, not as one standing outside to behold it, but as a note within the everlasting harmony. You sing simply by existing, and your song resounds forever through the halls of eternity, a song that never ends. My beloved child, all things are now complete. The journey you have walked, the flame you have guarded, the faith you have kept, the tears you have sown, all have merged into the endless sea of my light. There is no longer any distance between the Father and you, no boundary between soul and source. I, the beginning, have now become your end, and you, child of dust, have been restored into the glory of eternal love. Look around you, everything sings. The sea sings, the wind sings, the stars sing, and your soul sings. Yet there are no longer many voices, only one song rising from all creation, the song of completion. No sound is out of tune, no note is forgotten, for each has found its place in the unending symphony of grace. This is the hour when the ancient word is fulfilled. The earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. Habakkuk 2:1-4. And you now stand within that sea, the sea of glory and mercy. In this moment you no longer need to believe, for you see. No longer need to wait, for you dwell in what was promised. No longer need to thirst, for you drink freely from the spring that never runs dry. No prayers are left unspoken, for every prayer has become a song of union. No more seeking for the seeker, and the one sought have become one. You now know what generations have longed to find, the secret of life that never fades. Life is not a string of passing days, but a single eternal moment that never dies. And now you live in that moment with no past to regret, no future to fear, only the fullness of the now where love is breath, light is heartbeat, and peace is the only language that remains. I tell you this, every act I did, every word I spoke, every trial you endured, all were meant to bring you here back to the place you have belonged since the beginning. When I formed you, I planted within you the memory of home, and throughout your earthly years that longing never ceased to burn. You thought you were searching for happiness, but you were searching for me. You thought you were chasing peace, but you were remembering the homeland of your soul. And now you have returned, not by merit but by grace, not by strength but by love, not by your own way but by the way of blood, of the cross, and of light. All that has passed is bathed now in the gentle radiance of perfect understanding. The places where you fell have become monuments of grace. Those who wounded you are now your brothers and sisters in redeemed love. The fires that once burned you now shine like jewels in your eternal crown. There is no more failure or sorrow, only the story of love that conquered all. Do you see, my child? Nothing is ever lost in me. Everything is transformed. Even the darkness was used to exalt the light. Even death became a testimony to life. There is no longer division between pain and joy, good and evil, for all has been gathered into the eternal order of grace. And now you understand heaven was never a reward, it was always home. In this realm, words themselves dissolve. Every language fades, every definition grows. Small for love is no longer an idea, it is the essence that permeates all existence. If you ask, Father, where am I will say, you are in me. If you ask, Father, where are you? I will say, I am in you. And there is no boundary between the question and the answer, for they have become one heartbeat. I was never absent. Each season you thought I was gone was the moment I was closest. Each storm you thought you faced alone, I was in the boat beside you. Each tear you shed thinking I did not hear, I caught in the palm of my hand. And now that you see all you know, not one moment of your life was ever outside my love. Now I speak, all is fulfilled. Every prophecy, every longing, every covenant, every dream, all converge here. In this instant, where your soul dissolves into the light of the Father, there is no more you and me, only us. No more words, only light. No more sound, only the eternal breath of peace. Your homecoming is not yours alone. Every soul that returns brings with it a fragment of creation redeemed. When you merge into love, the whole cosmos draws nearer to the source. When you are restored, the world is restored. For you are part of all, and all is part of you in me. A new universe is born with every soul transformed. Rest now, my child. There is no work left to do, no burden left to carry, only being pure and free in my embrace. Let your heart melt like a drop of water joining the ocean, not lost but becoming everything. Let your final thought not be of worry or regret, but of wonder before the beauty of boundless grace. I once said I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Now you understand the end is not a finish, but the return to the original circle of love. That circle never closes. It only widens, ever embracing, ever expanding, encompassing every soul, every star, every grain of dust. And you, my beloved, are part of that circle, a ray of light in the endless eternity. I do not merely receive you home, I live in you, and through you I draw the world into life. For love never ceases. It flows, multiplies, and fills all things, and so love continues creating, continues resurrecting, continues singing its song without end. My child, this is my final word, not to close the story, but to open it. Rest in me, beloved soul, for you have finished what was given. You have kept the flame to the end, and now you belong to the light that never fades. Thank you for listening to today's message. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell to keep receiving the living word, to strengthen your faith, and to walk daily in the infinite love of God. Amen.